Lujito. Bueno, perfecto. Hablé con todos, ¿no? A mimir. Ya sé que tengo suficiente que suministro. Estoy repicado de suministro. ¡Opa! ¿YouTube?
Hell's fire. She's coming.
Wyll, you've been naughty. And you know what happens when you're naughty.
Gods damn it. Anyone but her.
You flatterer. Why, if I had a warm heart, I'm sure it would be skipping.
Y muy bello.
Call me
Idiotito esta.
Mizora. I'm Wyll's patron, the
Patrona.
fount of his power. My pet's been unruly, and his leash needs a yank. We had a deal, Wyll. But Karlak's still breathing.
I've taken more pleasant shits than you, Mizora. At least those can be buried after.
That's no kind of talk for a lady. By the way, Karlak, Zariel sends her regards.
You told me! Devils only! She's a tiefling, not a monster!
How precious. The little pupster's found his bark.
Clause G, Section 9. Target shall be limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless.
Karlak meets the criteria by virtue of having no heart. Don't you worry. That ship has long sailed the Styx. But a defiant pup must still pay his price. To wit.
Wyll burns in the fires of Avernus. The lightning storms of Dis strike his flesh. His soul passes through each layer of the hells,
Te pico.
gaining their essence and their torment.
¡Opa! Me apetece un trío.
¿Toma?
Oye.
That's better.
What the hells have you done?
A promise broken, a price paid. You know the terms.
Get used to the new form, pet.
There's no going back. Some magic even I can't undo.
Now, let's see how the frontiers fare without their precious blade.
Karlak, keep an eye on him, would you? I'll be keeping mine on you. Oh, and Wyll, don't forget, our pact still stands. Ta-ta.
Por eso quería que duerma.
Tenemos vida.
I'll be honest, soldier. I'm reeling. Wyll hardly knows me, but he chose my life over his. Been a long time since someone stuck their neck out for me like that. Gobsmacked, really. But grateful. Really grateful. I could learn a thing or two from a man like that.
¡Ey!
Hopefully we won't turn into mind flayers.
Ojito.
first.
Están sacando la word.
Escucha ahí tu madre. ¿Puedo decir alguna otra cosa o no? Y te robaba, loco.
What's on your mind? We were both part of Zariel's inner circle. Her by choice. In the grand scheme of things, I'm inconsequential to Zariel. Sure, I've got the engine, but I wasn't even her strongest fighter. But she favored me like a child favors a captive pet. Mizora envied the attention, I suppose. I'm sure when Zariel gave her the order to hunt me down, Mizora was delighted. I don't know. You'd think she'd have more important things to do. Devils and their pride. No kidding. The fighting, the chaos, the betrayal. It had the makings of a good stage show, but I did not want to be one of the
No. ¿Quieres decir algo interesante? Vos
What's
mago,
on your
gordo.
mind? I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt. Ah, yes. Cosas. Cosas was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like to be a god, to know yourself, to be untouchable, to be mistaken. As Cosas aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral, the end of Cosas, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Cosas' folly.
Ah, mira.
For a spell, Mistral was reborn as Mistra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Cosas. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go. If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
God.
Gods damn her straight back to the hells. Just look at me. I did what was right, and Mizora made me
Estamos
pay for it.
cachito ahora, negro igual.
Ay,
Be hunting
boludo, no
devils
son más
and
negros.
demons, she said. Traitors and hypocrites, heartless evils of all sorts, but not Zariel's victims. Not innocent tieflings.
Warlock pacts tend to be unforgiving from what you know of them. Wyll was lucky he didn't face a more severe punishment.
I deserve that. Consider me
Muy
properly
bien.
shamed. It's Mizora who grants me the power to conjure armor and cast eldritch blasts. Before I was infected, I could even call hell beasts and summon festering clouds. But I promise you, every thrust of my blade and every flame I sparked was for the good of the coast. I can't utter the terms or circumstances of the pact. I can tell you most all else, but the pact, I'm forbidden, unless Mizora permits it. But I'll say this. The moment I pacted myself to Mizora, I have not regretted for a heartbeat. It was my proudest deed. It was worth the sacrifice. All I can give you on that is my solemn word.
Quiere decir algo de alguna minita o algo.
A possibility that's kept me awake countless nights. But I don't have a clue where to start, other than play her games and play by the rules. That's the only language devils listen to. It could well be. She has the blighted thing. What I know of it is simply what has engraved itself upon my memory. My contract is very clear. I can bring Mizora no harm. She'll have to let me out of my pact willingly. The only way out is if I can out-bargain her. We're standing here with nothing but the clothes on our backs and the worms in our heads. We can. I'm sure of it. How glad I am that you see me as more than my patron's pet.
¿Algo más gordito que pongo acá o no?
It's said that anyone who bathes in the river of blood emerges as one born anew. It's a lot like that, I imagine. I feel the weight of these horns on my head, curling upwards like a mammoth's tusks. I feel these ridges snaking down my neck. Not to mention a few bumps and prongs in unmentionable places.
Hey.
But I haven't seen my reflection just yet. Be my mirror. What do you see?
Nos pusimos medio atrevidos.
I can't tell if you're being silly or serious. I'll accept the flattery either way.
Hola.
I suppose I'll grow used to the new me, horns and all. The people will see a curiosity, maybe even a beast hungry for their souls. But I will slay their monsters, keep them safe, and one day they will see the Blade of Frontiers again.
Bueno, perfecto. Este gordito no tiene nada para decir, pues ya lo hablamos aquí, ya le hablamos después de lo que pasó, ¿no?
Something the matter?
Copper for your thoughts.
Ahora ahí quería sexo.
Mira, está
Sí.
bien,
¿Eh?
está bien.
Yo no, en el principio fue
Pero no te voy a decir nada nuevo. ¿Qué pasó todo esto?
Creo que le hablamos, fue el primero que le hablamos después que pasó todo esto.
So,
Ah, no.
Wyll did the right thing, and it earned him a set of horns. Let that be a lesson to us all.
Riquísimo, nada más. Marque. No, toma, marque. En la cebollita abajo, ¿no? No hicimos 4 kilómetros largo de partida. Ah, en una partida.
Verdad.
Bueno, ¿me dicen algo nuevo de día o no?
What's on your mind?
No. Listo, termina de guardar. Si pintamos un par de cuestiones. Pintas un par de cuestiones. Pues si querés no vamos.